Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Channel Dad Bryon Lape in the Movies. And I'm going to cover two articles here, and we'll have links for both of them. This one comes from Cosmic Book News. This is something that, and it's come out a few days ago, and I really just ignored it. I saw it and I said, "There's no way this is true. This is stupid." But there's been all kinds of up in arms things about this video. You know, people on both sides have made videos on this. This was about Disney resetting Star Wars, Erasing the Last Jedi. You can read the article if you want. This starts as a Doomcock rumor who recently offered a channel, Star Wars Civil War is happening at Lucas between Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau. Now, that might be true. Okay. I have been hearing for 2 years that Kathleen Kennedy was on the way out, that she was getting fired from multiple sources. Multiple people were saying this, that Bob Iger was just furious, especially what happened with The Last Jedi. And here we are. 2020, mid 2020, and she's still in charge. The Mandalorian's doing okay. It's starting to smell like it's going to go woke for season 2, or at least partially. Hope not. I mean, I've not seen any of it, but I know people have who really enjoy it. This whole idea, there was a concept I know Ethan put forward several years ago that, we go to somewhere and it just shifts down and 7, 8, and 9 are canceled essentially. And cause I think the saga ended with the Return of the Jedi. Then we got the horrible prequels. And then now this next one's even lower than that. And, is now going with, Elizabeth Olsen and Scarlet Witch, Feige. Doomcock also previously provided those Skywalker spoilers, and prior to Marvel Studios announcing a new director and writing team on the Captain Marvel sequel. Also said there are all kinds of problems at Marvel with Brie Larson and Captain Marvel. Interestingly enough, Feige is now going with Elizabeth Olsen and Scarlet Witch. Yeah, I've done some videos about will there be a Captain Marvel 2? I mean, they started to announce it, and then we had all this COVID stuff, and who knows? But this to me, I mean, I would love to see this as being true, but there is no good end for this with Disney. Disney and Lucasfilm in particular, they can't undo the sequels trilogy. They might remake it and say, might remarket them and take 7, 8, 9, the numbers off of there and just say they're just a Star Wars trilogy, a post Return of the Jedi trilogy, something like that. In particular, if they do some other trilogies down the road. That they just don't number. We're just not going to number them anymore. And, Lucas had the numbers and we're not doing it and we're taking it off. They could do something like that. There's all kinds of things about this mirror and this multiverse and all this other stuff. I think it's every direction. It's horrible. And, I don't see it being true and I don't see it happening. Looks like Kathleen on, this is one of the movies. I don't even know which one this is. But anyway, that's my take on it. I'm not going to read this whole article. I think it might be true that it's a rumor that people are saying this, but I think it's bollocks. There's no good path in any direction for Disney to do this. So I think it's crap, and I'm going to move on. So the other thing I saw pop up today, if I can keep that out of there, was Lucas reportedly wants to make his original sequel trilogy. He had a thing, it was a treatment about the Force and the wills and all like that. In case you haven't noticed, by this point, Lucasfilm loves the Star Wars trilogy. Although we've never come anywhere close to recapturing the magic of A New Hope. Yeah, I think it was lightning in the bottle back in the late 70s and early 80s, and nothing should have ever happened. Just leave it 4, 5, and 6, and just leave it like that. George Lucas prequels were widely criticized at the time, but even they looked to be going through a reappraisal. It seems unimaginable up until recently. You can actually get 2 decent movies out of all 3 of them. I didn't like any of them. I am not going back to I've tried to go back and rewatch them, but they're unwatchable. And the sequel trilogy is worse, with the fan base becoming more fractured than ever by the different but equally divisive response to The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Now, here's the thing I remember. Back with the prequels, I know people liked them, and people thought I was nuts. I didn't like the Phantom Menace, and I didn't see. That was the only one I saw in theaters. Didn't see the rest of them in theaters, and people thought I was crazy. So, I was very hopeful that they were going to be good, but George didn't have the creative team around him that he needed, and they sucked. So, this is getting to whether or not there's a possibility that George Lucas, I think, let's say as fans know, Lucas already had outlines for his own versions of 7, 8, 9, which he ended up handing over to Disney, and they just whatever. But to be fair, these films wouldn't retcon or so Richard for his, but now it's reportedly getting the itch to become more hands-on again and make his abandoned concepts a reality, since the House Mouse didn't wind up using them. Despite planning a walk away from Star Wars entirely, look, normally I read all the parts of these articles, but these two have me fired up. One, that being that there's no way Disney is canceling Star Wars. Stop falling for these rumors. I've been I stopped falling for them a while ago, and I'm like, I don't care anymore. But George, you had your chance to do this. Okay, you could have created them. You sold Lucasfilm. You claimed you were going to go make movies that you wanted to see, and you were going to help and find some upcoming movie makers, and you were going to help them make their movies and things that you want to see. And you didn't do any of that. Okay, you didn't do any of that. I think you ended up eventually donating it to charity or something like that. You could have started a whole new genre. You could have started, almost like Star Wars all over again, in some upcoming young directors and writers and producers and stuff like that, and mentored them and helped. But you didn't do any of it. So even if you were to make these movies, I don't give a crap. You had your chance. You had $4 billion to help change Hollywood, and you didn't do anything. So I don't care. You could make the next best trilogy, and I'm not paying to see him. You were pissed off at the fans. You sold it on a huff, and then you wimped out on your promises, what you were going to do with that money. You didn't do anything what you said you were going to do. Now, I understand you tried to open a school in Chicago, and that got shut down, or a museum or something. But you said you were going to help make movies, and you wanted to make movies that you wanted to see. And I was looking forward to it. I thought, okay, let's let him see if he can make another American Graffiti and not a Howard the Duck. I know, or I know Ron Howard was the director of that, but or Willow. Okay, I mean, that was decent, but it wasn't great. I'd rather watch American Graffiti again than Willow. I thought, sure, we're going to get some young. Nothing, George. You had your chance, and you completely blew it because you were pissed off and whiny. And you went back and you kept tweaking the old ones. You were pissing fans off with that. I don't know if it was to get Marcia out of them. I don't know. You said they're not perfect. Okay, nothing's ever perfect. They were good enough. Now, I can understand going back and remastering some things and cleaning some of the effects up, especially when we go to, say, DVD or Blu-ray. I get that. But what you did to the original trilogy was unforgivable. And then before the prequels, they were okay. They weren't too bad. Too many changes. You gave into the various parent groups and all that crap out in Hollywood, and then you came out with these horrible prequels, and then you kept messing around, and you even messed up your own mythology. You had to go back and make changes to Empire Strikes Back because it didn't follow canon anymore. You screwed all that up, and then you kept picking on them, and then when you got really pissed off at the fans, you sold. You are correct. You did sell it to the slave traders, and they have completely and totally ruined. Kathleen Kennedy finally got her revenge on you 100%. And, just F off. Just go off, enjoy your retirement, stop making any movies, and don't ever show up in public again. That's what I feel about both of these. Okay. People, this is bull crap and isn't going to happen. And even if this does happen, I don't give a crap. That's what Channel Dad Bryon Lape has to say about both these. Thank you very much for signing up. And I know normally this fired up. This is just ridiculous. Okay. Just, we need to get back to work. The entire country needs to get back to work, and Hollywood needs to get its head out of its butt and start making good and movies again that are entertaining and escapism, and stop preaching at us. And George, I'm sorry, but you blew it. You had a great chance, but you completely and totally blew it. So just go fade off into the sunset. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. Let's fade to black. Thank you.